Here with Jason Hodges today. As y'all know, he's running again for our representative for Montgomery County District
67.
67, yes, that fell right out of my ear. So thanks for coming by, Jason. I know your schedule's really busy.
Yes,
I really appreciate it. So can you just tell people a little about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Jason Hodges. I'm the current representative for District 67. I'm from Clarksville. I went to Northeast. From there, I went to the Marine Corps, got out and went to Austin P, where I was a political science major.
How appropriate.
Yeah, there we go. Simplify. So I was a political science major, worked on Fort Campbell for many years, worked for the school system. Was on the county commission for 4 years when at the time, Representative Joe Pitts decided he was going to take his retirement job and become a city mayor. I don't know how much of retiring that is, but we talked about it and decided I was going to run for that seat, and I've been in that position for 2 years now.
Nice. So, what motivated you to run again? You know, it's not an easy calling. You know, there's a lot of work that comes with it, and sometimes a lot of frustrations as well. And you know, in our current environment, there's a lot of things that need to be dealt with. So, what really motivated you to say, I want to do this again?
Sure. So, you know, there is a lot of work, and it's a lot more hours, I think, than most people would necessarily realize, but for all the things that may seem terrible, you know, the partisanship, the bickering that we see in politics today, there's a lot of good you can do. And you know, constituency services, for instance, being able to help people through their unemployment problems, being able to help people that are having issues with various departments, and those things are very rewarding. And then on top of that, we have a lot of unfinished work. You know, COVID struck for number one, so many of the bills that were looking good for me got put on hold by the Senate because they weren't COVID-related bills, and so we're looking forward to bringing those back next session.
Absolutely. You know, I'll be honest with you. So when we were on a call, and I can't remember, you know, we do so many different community calls. We were on a call, and it was about unemployment. And at that time, it was, I mean, everyone was really struggling, including the unemployment office, to figure these things out. So there's a lot of confusion and misinformation. And you were, you know, kind of explaining where things stood. And you said, now, if anybody has any problems, tell them to call me at, and you gave your personal phone number. And in my head, I'm going to be honest, Jason, I was like, has he lost his mind? Like, does he know what he just opened himself up for?
Sure.
But at that time, man, it was, I mean, there's still a lot of confusion and issue, but man, at that time, there was so many unknowns, and everyone was struggling just to keep their head above water. That was an on-point thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it seems like it's a crazy thing to do, but at the same time, when you're on the other end of that line and you're struggling, you don't know where your next meal is going to come from because your unemployment check is literally, some people, 3 months late. And I can sympathize, and I'm willing to be on that phone all day if I have to get those legislative tickets in and try to get people paid as quick as possible. And so it was worth it, and I'm happy to still give my personal number out because 9 out of 10 times they're legitimate calls that people that just need help, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
You know, anytime you have a large net that you have to use because it's so many people, there's no way that people do not fall through. And I know the coalition itself serves to kind of catch under some of those really large nets to catch people falling through the cracks. And you're right, it can be a really terrifying thing to not only, just like even a natural disaster or a pandemic, none of us have done a pandemic before. And the response to it, you're not just, this is an issue that this family is having, this is an issue the whole state's having, the whole nation. and really the whole world is having. So yeah, absolutely. So what are you wanting to do for veterans? What do you have planned? What's on your agenda that affects veterans?
Yeah, so, as you know, every year the Veterans Coalition brings bills. I've been a sponsor since I've been in office, or a co-sponsor on every one of those bills. First bill I passed was a veterans bill. We'll just continue to do that, continue to support veterans, continue to fight. And I think we have a lot of success. There's a lot of bipartisanship in veterans issues up there, so that makes it actually makes it enjoyable to bring veterans bills, because there's less fighting and there's more problem solving together. So I think veterans bills are bills that everybody enjoys working on, especially people that are veterans or have been in veteran communities or serve veteran communities, because we know how important they are. But one important piece I would like to talk about that really affects the military right now is a bill that had passed. It was a bill of mine that had passed Education Committee, and we're going to bring it back next session. Again, the Senate put it on hold because it wasn't a COVID related bill. But it looked like it looked in good shape to pass. But what it is a 10-point grading scale, right? So right now, all the states around us have a 10-point grading scale for their students. We do this really odd grading scale of 93 to 100 being an A, 85 to 92 being a B, and so on and so forth. And that really gives a disadvantage to our kids statewide when they're applying for scholarships out of state. It's especially hard on military families. And so the example I gave is a family called me. The husband had just got back from Afghanistan. They were at the time they were stationed at Fort Bragg. When he got back, they got moved to Fort Campbell. They came to Fort Campbell. The son was a senior. He enrolled in a school here, and his GPA dropped because he was at a 10-point grading scale in North Carolina. He's at this weird grading scale here, and all of a sudden it changed his GPA so low that his scholarship that he was having was in jeopardy. So even though the husband had just gotten back from deployment not too long ago and hadn't gotten to see the family, they wanted to do what's best for the kid, and the wife and the child went and got an apartment in North Carolina to finish school. We've got to do better than that. And so
we have to be a part.
Absolutely.
Far too often anyway, already. Well, not active duty spouse anymore, but active duty families have to be a part so much already. You certainly don't want to put them in a position to have to make that kind of a choice. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a bill I hope the Veterans Coalition will look at and put it on their list.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely give our recommendation to THEC, because that's
and THEC is big supporters of the bill as well.
Yes.
They were behind it. They were with the bill. So we've got all the necessary groups involved that seem to be very supportive. Nobody really understands where the grading scale that we currently use came from.
Right.
So it seemed like an easy fix. So hopefully we can get that.
Well, you were part of a pretty fun deal for recognizing women veterans.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
That was pretty neat, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
So how did that kind of go? I mean, I know how it came about, but we're going to tell all y'all how that came about.
Yeah. So again, the Veterans Coalition brings so many bills to us every year.
Yeah, it was Steve Singleton, right?
It was, I believe. And so I sponsored, as many of those I can. In the House, you can only sponsor 15 bills a session a year. So I'd love to sponsor every one of the Veterans Coalition bills, but there's just not enough slots. So we can be co-sponsors of many bills we want, though. So all of us in the Veterans Coalition will find other legislators that have room to sponsor those bills, and then we'll co-sponsor them. And that was just a bill I was able to sponsor.
Yeah, that was fun. Women veterans came down to the Capitol and had a big fun time.
And unfortunately, I missed that day.
That's
yes,
right.
Ma'am. I wasn't able to get down there. So.
I wasn't able to either. I was really disappointed. We'll have to
we'll redo it.
We'll redo it. We'll redo it just for our benefit, right? Just to make us happy, so we can be a part of it. We'll just redo the whole thing.
The important part is women veterans got recognized.
Absolutely. And it's kind of crazy in a state like this, you know, the volunteer state, in such a veteran heavy state, that had not been done. Like it was.
But you know, we'll be saying that every year. You know, every year we see things that seem so simple that would help veterans, and it's every time we go through this, we were like, really, that's not. Why don't we do that?
Right.
And so that's where your group really comes in and gets into the thick of things and figures out those sometimes simple things that just for whatever reason slip through a crack. And we really appreciate you guys for what you do. So
well, thank you.
Sharon.
And you know, real quick, when I was in leadership Clarksville, we had my team did ours was voting. You know, trying to increase, how do we increase voting in our area, voter turnout. And we did a quick little video because that was our solution. Because what we found was people didn't understand the importance of voting local, whether it was city, county, or even state. And I know many veterans are bad about thinking only federal affects me. And so part of the video was showing how, you know, all the things that local voting can have an effect on a veteran. And since really TVET and Veterans Down the Hill has really been, it's been so evident, because so much legislation, just in the first 3 years, 7 out of 8 pieces were passed. Yeah. I mean, coming together. So a veteran voice really matters. So, you know.
And again, we love them, bringing them, because, you know, some issues are so divisive, and veterans issues aren't. It's really a way to bring bipartisanship and bring both parties together, just working for a good common cause.
Right, and all of our legislators, local and state, love to hear from veterans, and their one voice makes a difference. Their one vote makes a difference. Absolutely. And you know, I just always want to press on that, but I know you have 1,000 things to do today, so I really appreciate you coming by. But is there anything in addition that you feel like the average person doesn't know about you, or you might like to just share?
Yeah, my cell phone number, 931-980-9630.
There he goes again. Can you give that again slower?
Yeah, 931-980-9630. You know, if there's something you think I can do, if you're having problems with a state agency, or you're having problems with unemployment, just anything. Or if you don't know who the right person to go to is, call me. Because if I'm not the right person, I'll get you to the right person. And you know, that's our job. So don't be modest. I don't mind. Call me anytime for anything, even if you think it's little, because it may not be little to you. So
I really appreciate you saying, don't be intimidated to call me. Don't think, oh, well, he's a state legislator.
Well, I work for you.
That's right. You work for them. That's so important. They can just pick up the phone, give you a call, and let you know.
And Sherry reminds me of that when she comes to my office. She sits at the desk. She makes me stand at parade rest.
Oh, please, as if. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Jason. All right, thank you.